Hey guys, Fari here, and today I have a gameplay for you guys using my all-time favorite gun, the MK14. And I know that in the past I've said that I've loved the FAD, I love the MP7, but to me I'd say they don't like match with the MK14. The MK14 is just the best weapon in my opinion, and my favorite gun, and it's like one of those, okay, it's this time is for real. um, and while we're on the topic of guns, I want to discuss today about overpowered guns. Now, in all of Call of Duty online gaming, there's always been overpowered guns in each of the franchise. In World at War, I think you had the MP40. In Modern Warfare 2, you had the UMP45, and Black Ops you had the 74U, and today we are at Modern Warfare 3 bitching about the Type 95. And to me, I think it's pretty ridiculous how people just say there's always an overpowered gun or this gun is overpowered. To me, that's just ridiculous, because from my point of view, there are no such things as overpowered weapons. There are no such things as overpowered kill streaks, or maybe kill streaks, yeah, but well, not really. And there's also no such thing as overpowered equipment. Um, I think there are only overpowered players. It usually starts off with someone like some sort of loser who keeps on getting killed by a certain weapon, and they start getting pissed off. They start ranting about that weapon, post it on YouTube, and it sort of spreads out like a virus. Everyone knows about it, and for some reason people agree. But to me, I've never encountered any overpowered weapons for myself, and that's what I mean by overpowered players. I do know some people who, in Modern Warfare 2 and in Black Ops and also in Modern Warfare 3, who can't use things like, I guess if we're talking Modern Warfare 3, there are lots of people who don't know how to use burst weapons that effectively. They don't know how to make it, they don't know how to use it like to its full potential. And that's what I mean by overpowered players. I know some people who don't know how to use things like the UMP, or I shouldn't say don't use, but they're not good with it. Like in Black Ops, I do know lots of people in Black Ops who just can't get hold of the 74U, and they can't do well using that gun. They'd be better off using something like the M14, or in my case, I'd be better off using something like the MK14 rather than the Type 95. Like, I'm alright with burst weapons, but I don't really use the Type 95 that often. I never actually use the Type 95 unless I just like run out of ammo, and everyone in the lobby uses the Type 95. And there's sort of a history why I don't use it. Not gonna go over that, but the overpowered players is like, say I go 100 kills and 1 death using a USP 45. That does not mean the USP 45 is overpowered. Now, does it? That just means that I'm good with the USP 45, and that's something players will often do. They will get a hang of that weapon. Like when I picked up the MK14, or the first time I used it, I didn't like it because it's semi-auto. I wasn't used to semi-auto weapons, but then I got good with it, and I managed to unlock like red camo on it. I'm like level 29 at this stage with it. But again, there are not really any overpowered weapons at all. So don't be like a hypocrite when you're saying these things like, oh, that gun is overpowered, or that gun isn't, because any gun can technically be overpowered. Again, if I do good with something like a P99, I get like 80 kills for average. Every game I get 80 kills with a P99. That doesn't mean the P99 is, overpowered. That just means that I'm good with the P99, and that's the same thing whenever you're using weapons, because there are lots of people who don't know, who can't use the Type 95. They don't do well with burst, or the 74U. I wouldn't say that. I don't say SMGs are overpowered, because you try killing someone like 100 meters away from you, 200 meters away from you with an SMG. It's gonna be really hard, even in this game. Even when you have something like range on, it's gonna be very challenging. So, I mean, I just advise, like, stay away from SMGs on different maps. Like, if like this map, I guess SMGs would be fairly suitable, but I'm doing well with the MK14. What I think is overpowered is something like the ACR, or in this case the ACR 6.8. The ACR in Modern Warfare 2 is just so overpowered, and I shouldn't really say use the word overpowered, but that's like one of those weapons where you can really say it's newbie, because, you know, do me a favor, it has no recoil, you know, high accuracy, high damage, high fire rate, and fast reload. That's just like beyond. That's just beyond overpowered. I mean, even in Modern Warfare 3, they think, oh, adding just a tad bit more recoil will make it less overpowered. Well, newsflash, it doesn't. Okay, because I've tried the ACR in this game, and it's pretty much just the same. The accuracy is just above average. Still high damage, high fire rate, and fast reload. No change, Infinity Ward. And yet no one complains about it. It's overpowered, and I'm sure lots of you know it, but I just don't think that you complain. Especially the ones that rant about Type 95, but then they use something like an MP7, or they use something like the gun I'm using is pretty overpowered, but I don't think it's a really overpowered. It's not abused, and it's not used that much. There are also not overpowered but just abused guns. The striker is really getting, like, it's getting annoying. Every game you'll see someone running around with a striker, and that gets really irritating. But that's all for now. I'll see you guys later on my next commentary.